Ready, everybody?
Ready.
I like the dancing.
Thanks for tuning in to Howe's Things, the podcast and radio show from the David A. Howe Public Library, recorded right here in Wellsville, New York. I'm Ally Stevick.
I'm Nic Gunning, and today we have a special guest, and it's bittersweet because this is Heather Molloy's first appearance on the podcast. Heather, hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm great. We're glad to have you. I say bittersweet because Heather's leaving. Heather's leaving the David A. Howe Public Library. Heather, it's been so much fun having you here, but we're excited, for you to go off and do fun, exciting things. Can you tell us a little bit about the fun, exciting things you're going to do?
Yes, I can try. First of all, it is very hard to leave, y'all. I will say that. That's the
I appreciate it.
Part. It is a digital special effects coordinator role.
Okay.
Mostly for television and movies.
Cool.
They do a lot for Blue Bloods and very weird, like indie movies and things like that. So
Okay.
It should be exciting.
Okay. I have a Blue Bloods connection for you because, yes, I do, because I just saw the New Kids on the Block tour at KeyBank, and Donnie Wahlberg was right there. Donnie Wahlberg of Blue Bloods. You guys, that was the most fun concert I've ever been to, I think. And I'm not even a huge New Kids on the Block fan. It was just fun. It was just pure fun. Do you guys New Kids on the Block at all?
I'm just going to pretend I know what we're talking
We're
about.
going to nod and
The
go,
New Kids on the Block peaked before either of you was born, I'm pretty sure. But they just kept hanging on, they kept hanging on. So I went with my sister-in-law. It was New Kids on the Block. It was Salt and Peppa. Yeah.
Oh, but I know them.
And Vogue and Rick Astley. So it was such a throwback tour. And we got the cheapest seats that you could get. And we got there, and they'd undersold. And so they were like, well, we're closing the third floor, so we're going to get you guys new seats. And they were like, do you want floor seats?
Oh, my God.
And it was just like, they just went for it. Like, all these guys are like 50 plus, and they just went for it like it was 1982. We had the time of our lives. So that's my Donnie Wahlberg story. So if you meet him, you can tell him that I had a great time at the concert.
Like, oh, yeah, you remember Nick, the one with the glasses?
Right.
Yeah.
Of course he knows. Of course
Absolutely.
he knows. Oh, you guys, today we're doing a Lonely Hearts book club. This is a segment that's a holdover from the All the Book Show, where we would just pick a book from the stacks that hadn't got much love, and we take a look at it and investigate it. The last time I did this was with Daphne. You're familiar with Daphne.
Mm-hmm.
And the book that I picked, because part of the gimmick is that I never look at them. This is never checked out. The cover looks fun. Let's do it. As we started reading segments from it, we found that it was very sexist and more than a little racist. So it was a real whirlwind. So I hope that today the book is better than that. And I think it's going to be. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's start by opening up our books and see where our bookmarks are at. Heather, since you're the guest, what have you been reading? What have you been watching? What's new in the world of Heather?
So I actually just finished reading Lapvona, which is Otessa's new book.
Okay.
And
She wrote like Eileen?
Yes,
Is that what I'm talking about? Yeah.
My Year of Rest and Relaxation,
Yeah.
which, Allie, these books, you have to try My Year of Rest and Relaxation. It is the most depressing. It's right before 9/11.
Ooh.
And it's about a woman trying to induce a self-medicated coma. My Year
Oh.
of Rest and Relaxation.
Wow.
Wait, that's her plan for the year of rest and relaxation. I'm thinking tour the beaches, do some yoga, maybe a little hiking. But no, she's self-induced coma or bust.
Yeah, pills, baby.
Wow.
Nonstop.
Wow.
She has this friend who is an artist, who is a performance artist, who comes and takes care of her during that time and keeps a record of all of the really insane things that she does. But I digress. The new book, Lapvona, people are kind of describing it as this witchy, medieval-y type, which isn't
Interesting.
I mean,
thing,
that has some appeal.
Yeah.
And it was even more depressing
Okay.
Oh, no.
than any of her other books I've read, and
But did it deliver on the witches?
it did.
Okay.
It did. There's this woman who is this shriveled old husk of a person who nurses everyone in the village.
Okay.
Every single person. She's been alive for 100 and some years. She's blind. Spoiler alert, she gouges out a horse's eyes so that she can see again.
No.
The biggest trigger warning, you've got incest, you've
Wow.
got a little bit of weird, medieval.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
Yep.
it goes.
Weird animal cruelty. You've got a lot of self-harm. with heavy-handed religion.
Okay.
So yeah, it was
So just a cozy beach read
yeah,
kind of
summer
thing.
read.
Just
Right.
cuddle up with
Relaxing.
the chunky sweater and a coffee mug and
That's
read
exactly what I think of reading during this time of year.
Is
I'm
it?
like,
Right?
you know what?
Really,
Yeah.
It inspires.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about some medieval torture? That
So,
sounds great.
yeah, I
Okay.
don't know if I hate. That's what I was saying. I'm not sure if I hated it.
Yeah. I've read books like that.
It was so, and
Yeah.
this is kind of her bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the whole idea is that she just everything she does is repulsive and kind of has these really transgressive narratives.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, is it because the art sort of dictates it, or the stories dictate it, or is she just being purposefully?
Okay.
Is
out
it
there.
gratuitous?
Exactly.
Mm,
So
mm-hmm.
yeah, but I would definitely recommend reading it.
Okay.
Terrible, but read it.
I think I might pass on that one. But
Yeah.
But we can just
I'm
pretend that I
with
took
Ally.
your recommendation.
And you'll nod and be like, yeah, I know
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
exactly
Mhm.
what you mean.
What about you, Allie? Did your Louise Pennyholtz come in?
Yes. So
Oh, okay.
after waiting for a really long time,
Yeah. She's
for a
popular.
hold- she is popular, which
Yeah.
like I understand
Yeah.
why, so I feel like I can't complain.
Mm.
But after waiting a really long time, I got in I think it was like the 10th Louise Penny. Honestly,
Okay.
at this point, I'm losing track of which number is which. I
Yeah.
have to like, every time when I finish one and I go to get the next one, I have to like go back on Goodreads and be like, what's
Yeah.
the next one? I'm
Yeah.
losing track.
Isn't this just been this year? Like
Pretty much.
2022 has been the year
Like
of
I
Louise
read
Penny for
Still
you.
Life at the very end of 2021.
Yep.
And then pretty much this has just been like the year of like binge
Yeah.
reading Louise Penny.
Going
Yeah.
through it. Yeah.
So
I went through a similar thing, but it was with She-Hulk comic, so I can relate.
understandable.
I can relate.
Honestly, I feel
Yeah.
like there's a lot of similarities.
Do you?
I
would
could see it.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a podcast episode to me.
Compare and
Yeah,
contrast.
She-Hulk and Gamache. How do they?
How do they compare?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I like listened to that one like really fast, and then luckily for me, the next one that I needed was like available already, and so I like binged from one right into the next.
I usually need a buffer. When
Well,
reading
some
a
of it was the
series.
end of the one was like unexpectedly sad,
Oh.
and so I was like, we have to keep going. Not that there's really going to be like more answers necessarily in this
Yeah.
book, but I was like, we have to just keep going, or I don't know what will happen.
Right.
So, yes, so I'm on the 11th one now,
Okay.
working my way through. I've been working on.
You must be getting close to catching up.
I think there's 17, so I still have
okay.
a few. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of like trying not to think about the fact that soon I'll be caught up, and I have to like wait like
For the
Oh,
for the next
yeah,
one, like
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
else who's actually caught up.
Right.
So
That's a hard place to be in.
yeah. So I've been working on that. I've been working slowly my way through Bleak House by Charles Dickens,
Yeah.
which I'm reading with some friends
Yeah.
online in like a little Facebook group, and we talk about
Oh.
it on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's been a good way to do it because it's like a 1,000-page book more or less,
Yeah.
and so you need like a little external motivation
Yeah.
to be like, I gotta read the chapters for this week, kind of a thing. So
I feel like that's maybe one of the positives to to come out of the pandemic is a lot more like online hangs, you know, and I think we were kind of heading in that direction anyway, but it just seems like that's become, it used to feel like more of like a big deal, you know,
Right.
to like, oh yes,
or like
let's all
weird
figure
and
this
like
out.
futuristic.
Yeah,
of, like-
right. And now it's just sort of like whatever. Like
Yeah.
I've been doing this book club with some friends of mine for years now. We used to try to like get together, but as people moved away, we were already
Gets
kind of
harder.
leaning more towards digital, and now it's just kind of like
yeah.
we have it. My wife's doing one with her friend Kendra. It's just like I
I
love it.
know.
I love
a
it.
whole new
It's
world of
positive.
possibilities. Well, and it's like my extended family did like a group Zoom call. I forget
Aw.
when it was, like a little
Mhm.
while ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is never a thing we did before. Like, this is
Right.
fully a
Yeah.
pandemic thing that we're doing this.
Right.
But, like, you know, if we can get a few wins out of the pandemic, I'm here
Yeah.
for it.
I
Take
agree.
it, take
So.
it.
I agree. Dylan Newton would agree as well.
Yes.
All right. So Bleak House. Is it bleak?
It's not nearly as bleak as I expected,
Oh.
actually.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's called Bleak House, and the cover's, like, all foggy and, like, upsetting looking. And, like, there's a lot of things that I'm like, this isn't great. But it's not overall as bleak as I anticipated.
Okay.
It goes back and forth between a first-person narrator and a third-person
Oh, weird.
narrator. It actually works. It's like I wouldn't have expected it from like this Victorian
Yeah.
novel,
Right.
but it goes back and forth between being like, here's generally these things that are happening with like these awful lawyers and all these things, and then this like really just like wholesome and sweet young woman who's like
Yeah.
narrating the first-person stuff. And so I feel like she really keeps the overall tone of the book from like totally dive bombing. So
Yeah.
shout out to Esther Summerson. and
I
Bleak
feel
House.
like
Ooh,
you know
Esther.
atypical narrative style and even stuff that feels modern today is sort of a hallmark of Dickens writing. Though,
Yeah.
don't you think? I mean,
Mhm.
A Christmas Carol, for example. I just think the format of that is is very different. And I'm slowly reading through David Copperfield, as we've discussed, and same thing. It's just like the vignette style of it makes sense when you think about like slowly publishing in magazines and things, but regardless, it just feels like a novel that would be written today, and I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
really,
I think so
considering
as
its
well.
age. So we have a whole episode on Victorian novels, Allie.
Yes, because I'm obsessed with Victorian
You are.
novels.
You're broadening my horizons because we
Have
also,
you
yeah.
seen the new thing they've done with Dracula, where like they're releasing like every diary entry from Jonathan, like so like if there's no journal entry for a month, you don't get anything in your inbox for a month, but you get
Oh.
Oh my
like
gosh.
it's
That's
now
really
That's
it's
cool.
before in the newspapers they're like redoing it. So now this whole generation of younger kids
Yeah.
are sort of like rediscovering it and like,
Right.
oh, that Harker going to see Dracula, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That warms my heart.
Oh, it's so good. I'll send you a link to it.
That sounds
Perfect.
cool. That sounds really cool. Even something us old New Kids on the Block fans, I think, could get into, really,
sure.
if we tried,
For sure.
you know, broadening our horizons.
I mean, Dracula's accessible for any age,
Good point. Good point.
except maybe we small children, but
Mm-hmm.
they'll grow into it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Any age, you say. That's funny. Speaking of books I'm slowly reading, I've been reading Winds of Dune by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson. The sci-fi book club here at the library is launching, and we're doing Dune, the classic Dune. That's our first book for August. And I've read that before, and I've read a couple other ones. So I wanted to read something in the Dune universe just to kind of like get back into it. This one is set between Frank Herbert's, the original Dune trilogy is Dune, Dune Messiah, and then Children of Dune. This book is set between Messiah and Children of Dune. And it's not necessary. That's just,
It's a throwaway book.
yeah, I just kept
Fly
wanting to
overstate.
like it. And it's written much later by the author's son. And this is a whole thing they've been doing. And I read one of the other midquels that was written later called Paul of Dune. And that I felt like actually did, well, it didn't really move the story forward. I thought the more modern style of writing kind of helped flesh out the characters a little bit. And I appreciated that. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's read Winds of Dune. I wouldn't recommend it. It's just, it's a lot of it is flashbacks. It is really narratively awkward where one of the characters, Jessica, is like, let me tell you something that happened when Paul was a child. And then it goes into an extended flashback.
Oh.
Right?
Interesting.
Isn't that awful?
Yeah, that's a choice.
It is a choice. And every time it happens, I'm just like, oh, I don't want to. So,
skip.
so I'm sad to say it's a thumbs down because I've been enjoying the Dune books otherwise. But and the
So,
first one's good. You know, just,
I-
it takes some time.
How many Dune books are there? Because I feel like I constantly see more Dune books.
Yeah.
And it's like there's one that's like Dune that I'm
Yes.
like, okay, we know what that is. And then I'll be like, you know, reshelving books or whatever, and I'm like, there's more and more and more Dune, and
Yes.
it seems endless.
So there are 6 original Dune books by Frank Herbert that he wrote over the course of a couple of decades during his lifetime. And then his son, also a sci-fi author, Brian Herbert, had written some things with Frank Herbert when he was alive, took the notes and finished them with another sci-fi author, Kevin J. Anderson.
Okay.
And so they did that and kind of finished out the things that were in Frank Herbert's notes. And then we're like, let's roll the dice and keep going, baby.
Oh,
Let's
man.
keep riding these sandworms.
I feel like that's when it gets a little iffy.
Yeah, so
When
there's
you're like,
That's a money thing.
there's a lot of those, and they're continuing. I mean, they're continuing to be popular, and they're continuing to be printed. So there, to answer your question, there are 6 classic Frank Herbert written
Okay.
Dune books, and beyond that, there's all sorts of sequels and prequels and spin-offs.
okay, I feel much more
Yep.
confident about the Dune situation
So
now.
thumbs down on Winds of Dune, but I did read a historical fiction called The Forest of Vanishing Stars. It's by Kristen Harmel. This is one we have in our collection. Really interesting story. It's World War II setting, and it primarily follows a group of Jewish people who are hiding from the Nazis in the woods, like surviving in the woods. And the main character is a woman who was taken from her German family as a toddler and raised in the woods by this woman who has sort of like a premonition. She's like, I got to get this kid out of here or she's going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And so that's what sort of set things off. And so this woman who ends up, because she was grown up in isolation in the woods, knows all these tricks about surviving in the woods. So she kind of takes leadership of multiple groups of Jewish people who are just looking for survival. And she's kind of the counterpoint to that. And of course, her German roots come back into play and everything. I can't say that it always avoided going for the melodrama because it definitely hit that. But most of all, I felt like it was, in most cases, I felt like that was earned and it did work. So I would recommend it. Forest of Vanishing Stars, it's called. Really cool historical fiction that I read. Anything on, what's on your to-read list? What's next? What's up in the air?
What is next on my to-read list?
I did that thing. I asked you an unprepared
You asked me
question.
an unprepared
That's
question. How
mine.
dare
I could tell you mine while you think.
All right.
I picked up Loveless by Alice Oseman because we're going to be talking about that in the future. And I'm also reading some X-Men, Brian Wood's X-Men run. That's where they take all of the female X-Men and give them like their own book and team, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually
So
just
that's me.
finished Loveless.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Oh, I saw your Goodreads review. You were
Mhm.
kind of about
Well, like I liked it, but there were parts about
Yeah.
it that I was like, this is just sort of stressful to read.
it. Yeah.
This is like triggering
I get
memories
that.
of freshman year
I
of
get-
college, Allie, and I'm not here for that.
You don't like going back to that. Okay. I learned about Loveless on this podcast.
I
You
remember that.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
one. It was on the YA bestseller list. Anything on your list? You're going to be moving and traveling and doing all sorts of stuff. So.
I actually I have a friend who lives out in California, and we trade book recommendations.
Oh, that's cool.
And one of the goals is to try to find a book that we would hate the most.
Oh.
So, like, she actively looks for ones I
Okay.
would absolutely hate.
Have you heard of Twilight?
Okay, listen. When I was in middle school, Twilight was the thing.
Oh, for sure.
So I have
Yeah.
a soft spot for it.
Yeah.
I really do, even though it is garbage.
Yeah.
Um,
I unapologetically like the first movie. I think it's like
Wait, you
fun and
do?
goofy. Yeah.
What? This is news.
it's
Yeah.
camp.
Yeah, it is camp. It is
Absolute
camp. I feel like in that first movie, they're aware that it's camp. And I think
They-
after that, they lose sight of that. But I feel like the first
Yeah.
movie goes for it in a way that I find delightful.
I just can't take it.
You look horrified,
You,
Allie.
you've never seen it?
Nope.
Okay. Do you know what riff tracks are?
No.
Do you guys ever, like Mystery Science Theater? Do you know those old
You've probably seen, like, the little...
Mystery Science Theater? It was a show that was on many different channels, most recently the Sci-Fi Channel or Netflix. There was a Netflix revival. And they would take a campy B-horror movie and watch it, and they would just make comments throughout the whole thing. So it's great. It's hilarious. Now those guys have a site called Riff Tracks where they do the same thing. So you can
Okay.
download the track and play it along with the movie. And there's a riff of the first Twilight movie that is maybe the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, I will have to
Yeah.
look into that.
But even so, so you have a soft spot for Twilight. So
I
that's not going to work for a book you hate the most.
But looking back at it now as, someone that is adult-ish.
Yeah. You didn't have to do the parentheses or the quotations,
For
but
myself, For myself.
Okay.
It horrifies me.
Yeah.
It is terrifying to think, especially because it was so popular amongst, we'll pretend for the sake of
Yeah.
argument, there's only two genders, young women,
Mm-hmm.
that, ooh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, back on the All the Book show, my friend Kendra's a huge Stephanie Meyer fan, a huge Twilight fan. And so we did a spotlight on that when Midnight Sun came out.
Oh, God, yeah.
I know. So I've never read the books, but I read the short Second Life of Bree Tanner, which is like a little spinoff. And I also read the manga of it
Oh, yeah.
in preparation for that episode. And I forgot just how like destructive and damaging that relationship is. And like if that's the relationship you're holding up as like the epitome of what like love is, you should not do that.
Yeah.
You should not do that.
That's
So-
really my big nope to that series.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, I couldn't recommend it in good conscience.
There's like small gems in there. Like there's a part where she comes down the stairs wearing, and Stephanie Meyer, if you aren't aware, is very strongly in the Mormon church. And a lot of the books, like a lot of Rosalie's backstory, I don't know much about the religion itself, but her entire backstory and her name is from one of the stories that relates to the religion.
Oh.
So a lot of elements in there, like waiting for marriage before you were intimate with
Sure,
someone,
sure.
other things like that.
Uh-huh.
So anyway,
I didn't
Bella-
know that. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Google it sometime.
I
and
will.
See. There's
Yeah.
A lot of,
Okay.
So Bella's running down the stairs, and
Yeah.
she's in a long khaki skirt and a long sleeve blue button down. And Edward sees her, and he's like, "You are just so delicious." And so, like, ooh, that outfit. And reading this as, like, a 12-year-old,
Yeah.
right? I was like, this can't be true.
I guess I gotta get me a long khaki skirt.
So there are gems like that in it. But, yeah, for the most part, Nick's right. It's so toxic.
Not good. No, it's really damaging. I mean, it's an abusive relationship. I don't see how you can get around that.
Definitely.
And it's sort of raised up. So,
You get, like, the really, really awful stuff with Jacob and Renesmee,
Yeah.
their daughter.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
pretty uncomfy.
That is, yeah.
There's no reason Miss Stephanie Meyer, if you're out there.
Yeah.
No.
Boy, I didn't know this was going to be a takedown of the Twilight books, but I am here for it.
Yeah,
And I
shut
know
us
you
down.
are.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So bad.
Okay. All right.
Anywho,
Whew. What a little cul-de-sac that was into
Yeah.
the
little journey.
series of Twilight. The Host, also really bad. But
Oh, terrible movie too.
I heard marginally better things about that one.
Did you?
Which, mind you, isn't saying very much at all.
Yeah, yeah.
But for what
Yeah.
it's worth.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I saw Where the Crawdads Sing. I saw it right here at the Grand Theater in Wellsville, everybody.
And
I don't know. Have you guys read the book?
I have not.
it's awful.
You have read the book?
I'll say.
It is. I guess I read it and I understood why, because I feel like as bad as it is, it's very readable. Like it's a
Yes.
quick read. It's all just archetype. And so it's almost like a shorthand for reading and storytelling. So you really can pound through it. So I do understand the appeal of it. I went to the movie, my wife and I, because our son is at camp. So we were like, we have free nights. Let's go see whatever's playing at the movie. And so we went to see it, both having read it, both knowing what we were going to expect. And we're like an hour in, we're like, why did we do this? We know
We
this
did this to
book. Why did we
ourselves.
do
This
this?
is torture.
And yeah, it's just, I feel the same way about the movie that I do about the book. It's just kind of like, but why?
Yeah.
And like, maybe give a little bit of thought to, I don't know. So many people love this book. I don't, if you enjoy it, that's great.
We're gonna
Is
hate
today
now.
just the day we're going to like bash really
Apparently.
popular things?
But, the thing is, like, I think there's value in stuff that's just sort of like fun and mindless. I mean, that,
It's a good beach read, as we were saying.
yeah,
It's,
yeah. And that truly, like, from 2020 to like now,
Right.
reading like light, fluffy fiction has been a real like oasis for me. And so like I don't fault anybody for that, but I think that is just something that has to be acknowledged about that book and the movie, that it's just, I hate the phrase, but it is what it is. It's just, here you
Yeah.
go, So yeah, crawdads.
There's a weird too. I probably shouldn't even say because I don't know much about it.
I mean, let's roll. Let's do it.
The author in like an old murder case.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I saw something about that. And I
I
was
don't.
like, what?
Yes, I don't know the story enough to like really say that, but I know what you mean, and
Okay.
it's worth a Google.
So
Yeah.
we'll squint at it suspiciously, but I won't
Yes,
say.
there
Yep,
is.
we'll
Yeah,
just,
there
yeah,
is
give it
there
the
is some
side eye.
weirdness there. Woo! Somebody say something they like quickly. Anything. You know what? I do have a fun story. You guys. Back in January for the Youth Media Awards, Kate and I did an episode about all the books that were nominated. And it was a mixed bag that year, and we were pretty much in line with the things we liked and didn't like. And one of the things that we both loved was a book called Soul Food Sunday. And so it was one that I read with my son, and he loved it. And we really enjoyed the book. We liked the illustration, we liked the story, and it was just like a nice, pleasant read, And so we talked about that quite a lot. Well, the other day, I just get a cold call. And did you take the call? You did, right? Yeah. And it was from Winsome Bingham, who wrote Soul Food Sunday. And she was like, you're Nick, you're the one who does the podcast. And I was like, yeah. And she explained who she was and that a friend of hers had sent her that episode. And she listened to it, was just, really touched by the things that we had to say. She sent a signed copy of the book for my son because he particularly loved it. And she sent a signed copy to the library and sent me a very nice handwritten note, just, thanking me for the conversation that Kate and I had. And I just thought that was so
nice.
I think it's cool that it got to her. I think it's really kind of her to seek us out and let us know that she listened and appreciated it. So there's your good news, and there's a book I like right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
what an angel. What a
I
nice
know.
thing to do.
So nice.
I
The
know.
the book is great. We're going to have her on the show a little bit later on. So
Wow.
yeah. So looking forward to that. All right. Shall we move into some book news, or is there anything else for the currently watching list that we need to cover? Allie, Britcoms from the 80s on VHS, anything like that? Or
I feel like I saw a
Suspense is
Britcom from
killing
the
me.
80 recently.
I bet you
but
did.
I can't actually
Yeah.
remember what it was. So
Okay.
we're going to go with the definite maybe on that one.
Okay.
I did watch the new Persuasion.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I'm hiding behind this because I can't wait to hear. Did you like it? Did you hate it?
Both?
Huh.
It I've been seeing articles being like, is this the least accurate / worst Jane Austen
Oh,
adaptation
yeah.
ever? Which I'm like, probably.
Yeah.
It did a lot of things that were really interesting and neat and unexpected, but it also made a lot of choices that I was like, I don't understand why
Is
you would
it-
do that.
Is it set in space?
Oh, I wish.
It might be better if it was set in space.
I'd
I'm
be
not
down
gonna
for
lie.
that, yeah.
Well, because it's like it updates a lot of the dialogue and like things that happen.
But is it still set at
But
the...
it's still supposedly set in the
That's
Regency
weird.
era, so it feels weird. So I'm like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna like make these comments like, "We're worse than wait, we're worse than exes, we're friends," which I'm like, Jane Austen would never ever say this.
Yeah.
You why are you also pretending that you're in the
Right.
Regency era? It just feels
Right.
weird. But
Pick a side here. Don't.
it was a
Yeah.
fascinating experience. I will say that at the very least.
Did you guys ever watch the Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes from
Let me just
decades ago?
Grip my chair before I start talking about this. Yeah, the Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah. That's just what reminds me
Have
of
you
that.
seen
But
that, Allie?
I have not.
I saw it in theaters.
In the
My
theater?
friend and I worked out an elaborate ruse for a double date, and it worked.
Oh, an
It-
elaborate ruse.
It did work, yeah.
Wait, are you
Yeah.
going to share the story of this elaborate
Oh,
ruse?
I
or are you
mean,
just gonna
my
taunt it?
my friend Rochelle liked this guy Dan, and I liked this girl Jessica, and we were like, well, what if I'll invite Dan to come to the movies, and you invite Jessica, and then we'll all go to the mall, and we'll go to the movies, and we had this
Ah.
and then we have to go in this order, so we end up sitting by the right
Right.
person, and then food court afterwards. It all went perfectly fine.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah,
a shock,
it was good.
Like having
And-
a plan that's like detailed like that and having
yeah.
it actually go off
Oh,
without
yeah.
a hitch, like that's impressive.
Oh yeah, no, it was a real Ocean's 11 for us there, but we saw Romeo and Juliet. So, but you feel like you have strong feelings about it, and I'm just here for it, Heather.
I do, because any Baz Luhrmann movie. Have you seen Moulin Rouge with Nicole Kidman and?
I have not. I'm sorry to disappoint.
Allie, I'm gonna
Oh,
make
you
you
haven't
a
seen
list.
Moulin Rouge?
I have
Wow.
not.
I've
but
seen Moulin
I
Rouge.
read about it in Love List. They mention it a number of times.
Okay, I just saw Elvis
That makes
recently.
me feel qualified to talk
Yeah.
about this.
No.
Elvis.
No,
No.
Heather, what's all this? It's hostile. I love it. What is it? What do you got?
Well, Romeo and Juliet
Yeah.
is something. I remember seeing that for the first time in like 6th grade English
Okay.
class.
Okay.
And they were like, "You don't think Romeo and Juliet is hip?" Well, guess again. Play the film, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's successful in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, it's just. I mean, it is maximalism to the max. Like anything Baz Luhrmann does, Allie, is like, you think it has one rhinestone on it, you should put about 50.
Yeah. There's no like medium setting. No way.
No restraint.
Yeah, it's all or nothing, baby.
Color, music.
Uh-huh.
Everybody's like
Uh-huh.
acting as if they're on fire and gonna die. But yeah,
Take that, Baz
Romeo and
Luhrmann.
Juliet- Yeah, if you're listening, take that.
Wow.
Take
Yeah.
some notes.
Okay. So not a fan of Baz. Okay.
It's so weird because it's Leonardo DiCaprio as a baby and Claire Danes. Are you familiar with Claire Danes?
I don't think I am.
All the things I could think of to tell you also predate you, so you know,
Yeah.
like my so-called life. That's not gonna help you. But
Allie, you gotta watch
Homeland?
My So-Called Life. Homeland. Yes.
Anything? One of the Terminator movies, the bad one. I
Yeah, the really
No,
good
I
one.
definitely haven't seen the bad Terminator movie.
don't. All right. So thumbs down, Romeo and Juliet.
Like a middle. I
Okay.
think everybody should watch it in their lifetime. But
You
I
do.
don't
Okay.
think it's like.
Yeah.
You're not like, oh, this is great, I love it. You're
It was
like,
certainly
you have
an
to see this for the
interesting. I mean, do you
experience.
know what it is? They just use the script. That's it. It's just like the Shakespeare.
Okay.
Everything is updated.
Okay,
like
but
the
they
look
just use the
and-
script.
Yeah,
Like
but
in
they
the
just
90s.
use the
Okay.
in
But
the
it's
90s.
straight
Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
And gangs.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know it was the 90s because I watched it in a successful mall with the thriving food court. So you know that's got to
Yes.
be 90s. Did you not like Elvis either?
I didn't go see it because I
Oh,
was
okay.
like, I have so many
Yeah.
issues with Elvis and
You have issues with Elvis.
yeah.
What a
like-
fascinating little individual you are, Heather.
Well, he like groomed his wife from a child.
That is a creepy
That is
element,
a
and they
reason to have
do
an issue. Mhm.
they do gloss over that. They do gloss over that. Yeah.
Well, Hollywood baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of par for the
Yeah,
course.
I mean, there's a lot of the less shiny things that they were just kind of like me,
Not today. Not in this film.
Yeah.
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 I know.
So that's true. That's a fair criticism. I don't know how we got here, but I'm having a great time. So
Yeah. Who's to say? Do
You
you
know?
love how he died though? Have you heard about this, Allie?
what? How
How
Elvis died? Wow. Okay.
On the toilet, allegedly.
That is
Allegedly on
that
the
is the
toilet.
rumor. That is the rumor.
And
Yeah.
Because he was so the
Yeah.
further part of the rumor is he died eating what was it like peanut butter and
I mean, peanut butter and banana is like the go-to, but it could have been peanut butter and
was, like,
bacon.
grilled. And
Yeah.
and he was on the toilet and he died.
Peanut
Yes.
butter and bacon.
Elvis is also, I mean, he's a very tragic figure also,
Absolutely.
and I think like you can't really like talk about Elvis, I think, without acknowledging the fact that like, he was definitely a victim of a machine that like
Mhm.
overtook him. But yeah, definitely non-flattering parts of that movie were a little bit glossed over. But I felt like the Baz Luhrmann of it all actually kind of worked with Elvis because
Definitely.
know,
Yeah.
by the end he was a walking rhinestone, so it makes sense,
I mean, if the shoe fits,
Yeah.
you've got to be a
Yeah.
walking
the
rhinestone.
shiny, the blue suede shoe. That's an Elvis song. Elvis was
I'm
a singer
familiar with
from the
that one.
50s to the 70s, Allie. He was very popular. All right, we gotta get out of this. We gotta get out of this, you guys. I'm gonna move on to some book news, and that is the Eisner Awards. The Eisner Awards were just announced at Comic-Con this past weekend, so I'm going to tell you some of the winners. So here we go. I'm pulling this from comicsbeat.com, and there's a lot of them, so I'm going to be selective with the ones I tell you. So, best single issue or one-shot, the winner went to Wonder Woman Historia, The Amazons by Kelly Sue DeConnick and Phil Jimenez. I haven't read this, but I do like Kelly Sue DeConnick. She had a pretty epic run on Aquaman, which was a lot of fun. For Best Ongoing Series, Bitter Root by David F. Walker, Chuck Brown, and Sanford Green. In the list here, we also have Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing, which I did read, and that is a weird, trippy Hulk story, you guys. It's all about, can the Hulk be killed? Is he immortal? And it becomes a real unsettling body horror kind of Hulk story by the end, which, yeah, so
I feel
maybe
like Heather just got like more interested as soon as you said those words.
Heather has cared about the Incredible Hulk for the first time today here,
I'm like,
ladies
I'll
and gentlemen.
pass on the body horror, and Heather's like, let's go.
Yes.
I need seconds of that.
Yep. We also have Something Is Killing the Children by James Tynion IV. Also a good writer that I've read a lot of Batman stuff. And Werther del Adera. So those are the winners for Best Continuing Series. Best Limited Series went to The Good Asian by Porznak Pichashot and Alexander Tefengi. That's an Image comic. Best New Series went to The Nice House on the Lake, also by James Tynion IV, with Alvaro Martinez Bueno. In there is also nominated was The Human Target by Tom King. Tom King is one of those love him or hate him kind of authors, and I'm not usually in the love him crowd there. Best Publication for Early Readers, Chibi Usagi, Attack of the Heebie-Chibis by Julian Stan Sakai. I do love that title. So
pretty good, yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yes.
It just goes. It just
You're
goes.
right. You're right. Best Publication for Kids went to Salt Magic by Hope Larson and Rebecca Mock. I know I've read Hope Larson. Do you know that name, Allie?
Yeah, I feel like she's done quite a lot of
Yeah.
like the Juve graphics.
Yeah,
I
I'm
feel like
trying
I
to-
see her name over there all
I
the time.
feel like she did some of those fairy tale ones that we read. I don't know.
She might have.
I'll have to look it up. The cover looks great. The cover makes me want to read
It
it.
does look cool.
So that's a cool
I
one.
can confirm.
Best Publication for Teens, The Legends of Auntie Po by Shin Yin Kor. Have we talked about this one?
I feel like we
Yeah.
have. I want to say it might have been in a bestseller list at
Yeah.
some point.
I think you're right.
I know we have it in the collection.
Adora in the Distance by Mark Bernardin and Ariel Christentina was also nominated for that. I didn't love that book, but Mark Bernardin's the co-host of one of my favorite podcasts, so shout out to Fat Man Beyond. Best Best Humor Publication, Not All Robots by Mark Russell and Michael Deodato Jr. And Best Anthology went to You Died, an anthology of the afterlife, edited by Kel McDonald and Andrea Purcell.
That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, so a lot of really cool things in this. Oh, I have to mention Best Graphic Memoir, Run, Book 1 by John Lewis. Malik and I did this for Black History Month. We both read it and talked about it, and it was really good. I liked it quite a bit. I liked it even better than March, which is, itself, it's a legendary series. But Run was really cool and covered a time that I feel like is less documented, as far as the civil rights history goes. I feel like you focus on the early days and Martin Luther King Jr. and all that,
Yeah.
but that time immediately afterwards, I think, kind of gets lost in the shuffle. So Run was really kind of shining a light on things that I just didn't know about. So I enjoyed reading that quite a bit. Anyway, there's a whole list of winners. You can find this anywhere, but I'm pulling here from comicsbeat.com, and this is the Eisner Awards for 2022. Boy, are you guys ready for our Lonely Hearts Book Club?
I am ready.
Okay.
I'm absolutely
I
ready.
don't know the Lonely Hearts Book Club theme on the ukulele. I'm sorry to say.
I don't even know what the Lonely
I'm
Hearts
sorry
Book
to
Club
say.
theme
Well,
Me neither.
here, I'll play it right now. That only works for the podcast version, but it's a
We can sing a
jaunty
random
it's a
song.
jaunty little
Down
tune by
the bay,
by my
that's
friend
good,
Ben
where the
Lehman.
watermelons grow.
All right.
Throwback.
Yes, that is old school. So I mentioned at the top what this is, but with the Lonely Hearts Book Club, I run a report and I look at things that have either never circulated or haven't circulated in so long that they definitely are lonely sitting on the shelves there. As we learned last time with Daphne, I don't read them ahead of time. I don't look into them at all. I know what I know, and that's it. And it's basically the cover. So our selection today is Dervish Is Digital by Pat Cadigan.
What a
What?
title.
What?
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that cover. Look
Oh.
at that cover.
Is this a children's book?
Isn't it a thing of beauty? No, it's not. It's not a children's book. It is by Pat Cadigan, as I said. Came out in 2001, I believe. This is book 2 of 3 in the artificial reality division. It has had 4 checkouts in the past 21 years.
Do we know
So-
how the other books have done?
We don't have them.
Oh.
This is the only one, and
We
I
have the middle book.
we only have the middle book. Yeah, and we're also the only library in the whole 48 library system who has it.
Oh, so the
Elmira-
pressure is on.
Yeah, Elmira has one of her other books, but that's it for this. So, just to explain the cover here, it's so hard. It's sort of like a computery sort of grid in the background, and you see the faint image of a woman. I want to say
Some sort of face.
some sort of face. She's got a hand that's on fire, and there's an ace of diamonds, and also maybe an ace of clubs, or maybe the ace of diamonds
Something of
is
clubs.
turning into a club. I don't know. The tagline, in a world, oh, perfect. In a world of lies, who will find the truth? In a city of false faces, who will discover your identity? Original cover price, $22.95
Oh wow.
here in the United States. Give me your reactions just to this cover, because it's a lot. It's a lot
There's
to take
a lot
in.
going on.
It's a lot. What do you guys think?
I'm overstimulated. Like,
Ye-
I'm gonna guess some sort of like Y2K magician-y
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
It
would
feels
you
like
would you ever pick up this book?
probably not.
Yeah.
Or I would pick it up and I would be like, huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's the white background, the yellow and red font don't really go with the aesthetic of the rest of the book.
I feel like it's
No.
trying to look more sinister than it is succeeding,
Well, I
if
think
that makes sense.
I think Heather's question is right, because this does look like a, something that you'd read on a shelf with like the Animorphs or Goosebumps.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Late 90s, early 2000s, sort of like, look at all the colors and weirdness. But I found the title difficult to read. Like, when I first saw it, I was like, Devilish in digital? What does that mean? But it's Dervish. Dervish.
Yeah.
in
And the like the
digital.
R and the V almost look like a kind of like a W.
Yeah.
Dewish.
Yeah. So
Dewish.
there's a
Dewish.
lot. There is a lot going on. So let me give you the synopsis, okay? And just to remind everyone, I have not read this, so I don't have any idea what it's about.
Brace yourselves.
Okay. First, we have a quote from Entertainment Weekly. Hacker fiction isn't exclusively a men's club. Oh, boy. As Pat Cadigan demonstrates in novel after good novel. So if you guys thought hacker fiction was a men's club, you're both
again,
you're
yeah.
both wrong. You're both wrong.
We can get in.
You can. It's not too late. Detective Lieutenant Dore Constantine is up against it. Cadigan introduced her readers to Lieutenant Constantine in her last novel, Tea from an Empty Cup. Better title.
Way
It's a better title. I wouldn't think it was hacker fiction, but okay.
I would not think that was
Constantine
hacker
is
fiction.
chief officer in charge of technocrime. Oof. Artificial Reality Division. It sounds better than it is. I guarantee you it doesn't. I promise you it does not. In fact, the AR division consists of 3 people and a caseload of crimes that are nearly impossible to solve. Now, as if handling her heavy caseload almost single-handedly weren't bad enough, she's got a bizarre stalker case to deal with. A woman named Susanna L. claims that she is being stalked by her ex-husband, Hastings Dervish. So there's our Dervish.
Oh,
There's our
that's
Dervish.
quite a name.
Yeah.
So maybe he's digitally stalking her.
Oh God.
I feel like that's where this is probably.
I
gonna
feel like
go.
that's where it's going too. And I guess for that, I would say 2001, that's a little ahead of the curve.
Definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
It seems implausible at first. Dervish is an extraordinarily rich and powerful man. Oh, boy. Who should have better things to do. But as Constantine... like run for president. Sorry, everyone. But as Constantine starts to look into it, she discovers that it's not quite so hard to believe. Meanwhile, she herself has attracted the attention of another AR law enforcement agency, the East-West precinct of the Japanese police.
Oh.
There's nothing Constantine dislikes more than people who take on the AR persona of children, and an East-West agent named Goku likes nothing better than to... It's not Dragon Ball Z, so don't. Better than to troll low-down Hong Kong for AR deviants in the guise of a 9-year-old boy. But when Constantine realizes that Dervish has traded places with an artificial intelligence who is running the tables in low-down Hong Kong's casinos, she knows that she'll have to eventually make a deal with Goku to get the goods on Dervish. I need to take a nap after reading that.
Wait, what?
Look, right there.
Also, yes. Firstly, yes. Are we supposed to understand that the like swapping places with an AI and running casinos something like that is happening in the like artificial reality or in real life. Because it didn't really seem like it's specified.
No, I mean, I guess I have to. I mean, if he's taking place, is it like the casino is automated and Dervish is somehow taking control of that automation and is like twisting it to his own?
Maybe.
But
also, why? Like, what does that have to do with stalking his ex-wife?
I don't know.
What's the end goal here?
Gotta have funds to stalk, baby, I guess.
I don't know. So she is she she's
stalk.
a detective lieutenant. So yeah, so she is a cop, and now she's dealing with the Japanese police, and her ex-husband is maybe taking over a casino, maybe digitally.
Maybe an AI.
And there's another cop named Goku who is pretending to be a 9-year-old boy trying to get the dirt on online predators.
Why would
I think because it says troll lowdown Hong Kong for AR deviants in the guise of a 9-year-old boy.
Yikety yikes.
There's a lot here, and I don't think any of it seemed good to me.
And it's such a small book.
It is a small
book.
How
are they gonna
I don't know how they're gonna bring it home. Yeah,
that?
200 and some pages, 229 pages. And I mean, it is book 2, so a lot of the like world building or whatever, like establishing what the artificial I forgot it already. Artificial reality division is probably would have been taken care of in that empty teacup one. What's it called? Tea from an Empty Cup.
That's it.
So
that sounds like a book I would read, but not this.
But not this kind of thing.
No.
Well, Science Fiction Chronicle says Tea from an Empty Cup is a sure winner. So
well,
what are you going to do there? And Library Journal says Cadigan's first novel in 5 years exhibits the author's high-impact prose style, eminently suitable for a voyage into the world of high-tech sci-fi.
Eminently.
Salon.com is comparing her a tightly plotted, crisply written novel that fits the classic noir mystery template set down by the likes of Raymond Chandler more comfortably than anything William Gibson has ever written. Wow, take that, William Gibson.
I'm here for...
Oh, but
noir
she's a
mystery a la Raymond Chandler?
Yeah, she's an Arthur C. Clarke, 2-time Arthur C. Clarke winner.
Wow.
Okay.
So, yowzer. In her first novel in 5 years, she tells a gritty and downbeat tale of multiple murders, exchanged identities, and cybernetic sadomasochism. Constantine, the embittered cop, and Yuki, the rootless Nisi, are effective protagonists, but as is often the case in Cadigan's work, the author's pyrotechnic style and intensely detailed descriptions of cyberspace are the major attractions. This well-done example of cyberpunk noir detective fiction should especially appeal to fans of William Gibson. There's another one, Publishers Weekly.
That is a lot to take in.
It is. So I guess it's like a tech mystery, like a techno mystery.
And that checks out, I guess, for 2001 being like cyberpunk.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just have to laugh every time you say Goku. I can't
It's
control it.
It's an interesting choice. It is. It is definitely an interesting choice. Oh, she has a young adult book, Allie, called Avatars. So if this strikes your fancy, you could take a look at that. Okay. I'm going to give you... That's a thank you. All right. Now, I've gotten in trouble just reading blindly before last time, so I'm going to give you chapter 1. Here it is. Sitting on the fake leather chair in the cheesy hotel room, Constantine thought, this will be a very serious weapon. How do we feel about that first sentence, you guys?
Is the chair the weapon?
Yeah.
I'm not drawn in. I think cheesy hotel room is a bad line.
Yeah. That does seem like not the most... Like, that doesn't seem like the foot you want to start on.
Right. No, I don't think so. I think you could have expressed it as a cheesy motel in a way that doesn't just outright say it.
Or like waited a few sentences before mentioning.
Right. Maybe.
That it's a cheesy motel.
Right. Maybe. Yeah. And I'm not intrigued to find out what the weapon is either.
Yeah, no.
Because it's probably the internet. It's probably the internet. Okay. Let's continue. Now this, said the slim, angular woman sitting on the bed, this is a very serious weapon.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
This
Yeah,
is the weapon.
I guess. Okay. Constantine could see that she was a very serious arms dealer, meticulously well-dressed, the tasteful classic lines of her jacket and pleated skirt, suggesting a high-ranking officer of a yacht club that would not for one moment consider admitting Constantine or anyone like her, especially not in those leggings and with that tunic. the one detail that said otherwise, the detail you had to watch for so you could tell the difference between the president of the yacht club membership committee and a very serious arms dealer, was the little finger on her left hand. It was artificial stainless steel with a brushed surface and a rectangular cut sapphire where the nail would have been. That was as close as she came to wearing jewelry. No earrings, necklaces, bracelets, rings, studs, or pins, so no jewelry. The stainless steel finger seemed to impact even more grace to her gestures as she caressed the weapon lying across her thighs in a way that made Constantine think of game show prizes you couldn't possibly win.
Game show prizes on thighs. Imagine
Yeah.
that.
How do we feel about that so far?
It just got better and better / worse and worse.
It went a lot of places.
It really did.
Yeah.
It seems sort of gloriously bad. Like,
Yeah.
I still don't know what we're talking about. And there was so much about yacht clubs.
Why would
There
we
was a
do that?
lot
which
about
really
yacht
didn't
clubs.
resonate with me at all. So I
It
don't
was like
know.
we're gonna go on a whole little mini journey
Yeah.
about yacht clubs,
How-
and then come back. She's got a stainless steel finger, by the way.
Yeah, with the sapphire nail,
Yeah,
and
don't
that's her
forget that.
only. I like that they listed every piece of jewelry.
Every
like,
piece
hey,
of jewelry
listen,
that you could have.
I know what you're thinking, but this is the list of jewelry that she won't wear, and it is extensive.
I also I feel like if I had a stainless steel finger, I would not have a sapphire nail. Like somehow that makes it more uncanny valley to have a sapphire fingernail.
The two things do not go together.
Yeah,
Like-
Yeah. Well, and also because it's not like a silver finger or like a gold
But-
finger or like
Yeah.
it's like stainless steel, which I mean to be fair is probably more durable.
The utility.
But
but we don't know. I mean, maybe it was established that that's like a thing people do. Like they have
Maybe.
cybernetic
Yeah.
parts or whatever, and it's like you trick it out. You know, you bling it up. I don't know. Maybe.
maybe.
Hmm.
I just don't
this
know.
is causing more questions
I just
than answers.
don't know, like the magician vibe of it. Like if this is supposed to be a noir mystery, it doesn't pull on that at all. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
even for
the cover
2001.
does not look noir mystery, and the
No.
opening lines do not strike me as noir mystery.
No.
No, I don't
No.
know what it is.
And I definitely see, because there's a note on the front from William Gibson. Her fiction is ambitious and brilliantly executed. Cadigan is a major talent, and I feel the flavor of like William Gibson is kind of like William Gibson. He's kind of like the father of cyberpunk. I think you'd say.
Oh.
He wrote like Neuromancer and things like that, which are
Okay.
and there's something in the writing that does remind me of that. So I feel like she's purposely going for that, but I just don't think so. I think if you're trying to hook a mystery reader, it's too much with the cyberpunk already, and it's not good cyberpunk. So if you're a cyberpunk fan, I don't think you're like, tell me more about the sapphire fingernail. So
No.
And the jewelry you
No.
refuse to wear.
yeah,
Right.
and the yacht club. A lot
The
again,
yacht
a
club.
lot of talk about.
Well, and
yacht
it's like
club.
the only thing that feels noir mystery is being like, there's this woman already, we don't know who she
Yeah.
is, and she's got this weapon on her thighs that she's kind of caressing,
right.
which I feel like is, I don't know, that feels like a Marlowe kind of move to have
Yeah.
that kind of thing going
I,
on.
I know when he said thighs, it made me feel like she wanted to be like, she had gams that wouldn't quit. It was
Right.
like that's what it felt like to me. She was a tall drink of water, and she needed my help.
Exactly.
Which is like, as a, why would you lie?
Snort. That's Allie's first snort of the podcast.
Oh, Allie, I love you. Need to laugh like that more often. I don't
Heather,
know.
no, it's not. Okay, I'm gonna go. This is page 14. I'm gonna catch some dialogue. Down these mean casino aisles, said the cyborg to Constantine as they walked through the gambling palace. Something go, or is it go something? He was a patchwork cyborg, very leading bleeding edge these days. His name was Darwin. Constantine had traded her street life outfit for a shiny pastel plastic and a nondescript painted lady face. She might have stood out among the far more ornamented crowds in the glitter and sparkle of the casino, except she was sure that she was invisible in the shine. Anything?
So it's kind of. Did you ever read A Clockwork Orange?
No.
So, again, 10 out of 10 recommend, but terrible book.
Okay.
Movie's
So
a
we're
lot
starting to
better.
get what Heather's vibe is, I
Just
guess.
a little bit.
Does this make you uncomfortable and sad?
Then
2 thumbs
check
up
mark.
from Heather.
That book has a lot of so there's an entire invented language, there are words, it's a mix of Cockney slang with made up words.
Yeah.
And to get into it, you have to read the book
Yeah.
3 times
Yeah.
before it even sinks. And
Right.
I guess I kind of get that from her, like to a lesser degree. I see trying to get like, this is the world.
Yeah.
This is the slang.
Right.
It's normal, but it's weird.
I guess it feels to me almost like, and maybe if we read the whole book, it would become clear. So we should keep in mind that we're definitely judging this book by basically its cover. But I feel like it's walking a line where you got to go one direction. You either got to like go more and make it almost over the top, or you got to dial it back a little bit. And I think if the tone is meant to be serious, you got to dial it back a little bit. That's
it does
where
not
I'm
feel
feeling.
serious.
No,
well,
it
and also
doesn't.
like it's describing all these like techno things,
Yeah.
and that are kind of like vaguely futuristic and like all that kind of thing. But it does feel very like 2001 future tech, if that makes sense. Which like there's no getting around that if you're writing in 2001.
Yeah.
So like fair, but just the way it's describing things and how I'm imagining them doesn't feel like, I don't know. It feels dated, I guess.
It does. And I don't think, I mean, I was graduating high school in 2001, and I can tell you that version of me would not have been like, tell me more, because I guess it feels like it's almost going for like a realism, there's like kind of a realism in what's being said that I think even then wouldn't really have worked, and I can't say enough how bad this cover is. It's really, I would never in a million years pick this up.
I think I should also say that the me who existed in 2001 would also not have read
You
this.
wouldn't have liked it. No.
Not 2001.
What was she up to in those days?
She was reading, Just One of Each.
Okay.
And Baby Duck in the Rain.
Okay, so different. Yeah, different vibe.
It's different vibe.
Less cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. This to me, if I like looking at this cover, I feel like it's a Christian kids movie on VHS. That's the vibe that I'm getting. Like, you know what I'm talking about? You see that in a church library. So, I mean, that's bad right away. Do you want any more? Do you want anything else?
Yes. Glad
Okay.
for punishment.
Okay. All right. Where are we at? This is chapter 6, and it's a big dialogue scene. So we're
boy.
just going to have to guess what's going on. Okay? Tomorrow's law enforcement day, Telefero said. They've got the warm bodies and the equipment, the new solution to the problem of the old switchola, Constantine sighed. I'm stuck on the outdoor. The outdoor is still among the beloved legends of our time, Telefero sounded amused. It's just a matter of which you find more plausible. More plausible than what? The guy who died from an AR cobra bite, or the blowfish who claimed he was kidnapped by aliens who strayed into our AR from their own?
Blowfish?
Well, I've already put in a search for all of Elle's matters of public record for you, Telefano told her soothingly. By this afternoon, it'll all be sitting in your inbox, organized chronologically, geographically, and alphabetically. If I let any more stuff go in there today, the damn thing'll explode, said Constantine. So empty it once in a while. That's a day's worth of work by itself. I said empty it, not work on it. Plead overloaded circuits and blanket erasure. Mail will supply you with backup copies in a couple of days. Pragmatist, Constantine said. Ah, so's your old man.
Your inflection's great.
There you go. Thank you.
Really great.
Thank you. Ladies, it's a no for me. I don't see it happening. And we've been in the past. We've done this and we've been like, why are people reading this? This sounds so fun. So it's not like every time they're bad. And sometimes ones with extraordinarily bad covers do end up being fun. So, but I just don't. This one, I think a lot of it is the datedness of it. I mean, it's just sort of like a Jetson-y swing into what the future is going to be. But I really, yeah. I think it's that noir, and I think that's kind of a staple of early cyberpunk. But this is not early cyberpunk. This is 2001. So I feel like classic cyberpunk is going for kind of often Neuromancer, things like that are going for kind of a slick noir vibe with like a hodgepodge futuriness to it. But this is just...
It doesn't feel like it's quite doing that, or it's quite not doing that.
No.
It doesn't know what it's doing. Yeah.
It doesn't know what it's
I think that's the thing. I guess I would say clumsy. I would say it's just clumsy. It's just kind of like, let's throw this stuff out and see what sticks. The future tech that they're talking about, it just doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a natural extension of even 2000 technology. So yeah, I'm sorry, Pat Cadigan, but I don't think I'll be checking in here. Agreed?
Oh, I'm not gonna read it.
Oh yeah.
Allie.
Just in case there was any question, Allie is a no. Well, it is here in the David A. Howe Public Library. You can come and check it out if you're
it
local.
Intrigues you.
Yeah, if it
or if
intrigues
you
you.
have like a Heather kind of taste in books.
Right.
It's for you. It's
Yeah,
for you.
it could be. It could be. And, too, I would say if you're a huge fan of this book, definitely tell us that. You can send us a message on Facebook at David A. Howe Public Library, at Twitter at All the Book Show. Let us know. Let us
We
hear
wanna know.
what we're missing about.
Detailed description, please.
I have to keep looking at the cover because I literally forget the title every time I'm not looking at it. Dervish in Digital is the title of the book by Pat
If
Cadigan.
you just got rid of Dervish, if it was just in digital,
Mm.
10 times better right off the bat.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
The Dervish does feel like that's a lot on its own.
It is.
Anything with when you introduce
Dervish.
Dervish.
And especially, I mean, I like it less knowing that it's the ex-husband's name.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that makes it
feel
worse.
weird.
Yeah. And I guess it's maybe like too on the nose if it's just about
Yeah.
him going into the digital world. It's just like, so Pat, what's the book about? Well, Dervish in digital. Stop right there. We've got our title.
I mean, E for effort. We hate to put, a woman
Yeah.
author down, especially in like that kind of genre, which
Yes.
I imagine was really
True. That is true. That's a good point.
But at the
That is a
same
good point.
time,
Yep.
Not great.
Yeah.
It's not only a man's game, Heather.
That's that's true.
Message received.
So if we've learned nothing else, it's that
We love that.
cyberpunk, even ladies can write cyberpunk. that's the takeaway from Entertainment Weekly in
Guess I'm gonna go home
2001.
and write some cyberpunk.
I'd
You
love to
should,
read it.
yeah.
I would love to read. If you both could get me some pages by the end of the week, I'd really appreciate that. I would
On my
really
desk by
appreciate
Monday
that.
morning.
Heather, we record remotely all the time, so this doesn't have to be your only appearance on House
Oh, I
Things.
would love it. This was
We'll
the
find
best.
you. Okay.
You guys, chef's kiss to your
All
humor,
right.
I have to say.
Heather, truly thank you for your time here. We really, it's been a lot of fun having you. You've been great to work with, just getting along well with everybody and making the place more fun in general. I feel like just the music I've heard at the front desk has
Oh,
broadened my
God.
horizons. So,
Yeah.
Well,
Well, don't
good
make me
times.
cry.
sorry, I didn't mean to. And we can have you back. You can Skype in.
Oh, I would love it. Won't be able to get rid of me.
Yeah, Skype is a 2001 technology that you might use
I've
to.
used
Yeah.
Skype.
Have you?
I have.
Look at you.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Now, if you say you've
Old
used
school.
AIM, then I'll be really
Old
impressed.
school.
I have not used it.
Oh, I definitely did. Oh, yeah.
Now, Little Running Man?
That was all the rage.
Really
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife and I in college, that was like when we were in a play together and like the play ended and we were like, well, we're never going to see each other again. And AIM was like a big part of like keeping in contact and let's meet at the campus center. So
Romance.
yeah,
Yay for
Yep.
AIM.
that's right. That's right. Shout out to AIM. I think it's dead now. I think they finally killed it.
Yeah, Discord is the new AIM. To give
That's
you a,
true.
Yeah.
Yes. Al, you want to plug our library Discord?
We have a library Discord.
Yes.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
We sometimes book club over on there.
That's right. We're going to be talking about Thor in August.
Yes.
Maybe
I'm
just the
pretty
two of
excited.
us. We'll see.
You never know.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah. Have you watched the Thor movie
have,
yet?
yeah.
Okay, we'll save it.
Okay.
You can't tell me
I
now.
won't say anything about it.
Yes, but
It's
same
expensive.
ways. If you want to join the library Discord, we talk about all sorts
All
of things
sorts
in
of
there, book
things.
reviews and just like
What
general
we're
chat.
reading,
Mhm.
random
And then-
memes, all
yep,
that kind of stuff.
That's right. And of course the monthly book clubs where we're basically
Yes.
looking at pop culture stuff, like what's going on
Mm-hmm.
in that area every month. So yeah, David A. Howe Library on Facebook or All the Book Show on Twitter, and you can find back episodes of the podcast over on the YouTube channel. Lots of fun ways to connect here. Next time, Allie and I are going to be talking about primarily, would you say Heartstoppers or just the author in general? We're gonna touch a little
I
bit.
feel
on
like
everything.
Heartstopper is the way in, and
Yeah.
then like we'll touch on some other things
Yeah.
about the author in general.
And I did, thanks to you, Allie, read it on Webtoon. So I feel
Ooh,
very
nice.
legit. I was very cool to my teenage niece the other day
oh,
because
excellent.
I had this in print and I was like, well, I read it on Webtoon, and her mind exploded. So
You're
I
hip
was,
now.
I was momentarily hip. Yeah. All right. But that is going to do it for this week's episode of How's Things. Thanks to our guest, Heather Molloy.
Yes.
And you can check out, I literally forgot the
Dervish
title.
in digital.
Dervish in Digital from the David A. Howe Public Library. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.